I did not expect that I could go from this to this in just 60 days. Hey, it's Riz here. If you're new, I make videos on confidence, health, all good things like that, but we're gonna jump right into the video. The main issue that I had was I had a lot of bad habits that were getting the best of me, but basically I did a 60-day challenge where I cut out a whole bunch of things and it just ended the other day. The video right here is the one I made right before I started this challenge, which will have a lot more details as to what I'm going to be talking about. I basically completely cut out all the bad habits that I had. So that meant no fast food, no junk food, no sweets, no desserts, no cookies, no cakes, all that kind of stuff. And absolutely no cheating no matter what. I told myself that if I slipped, if I had just one French fry or something like that, then I would have to restart the challenge. I'm honestly shocked by the results and I'm really happy with them. The best result that I found was I just felt so much healthier. And that was because of a lot of different factors. Like I slept better, I had so much more energy. Also near the end, I had a lot less anxiety. And I just felt all in all better and happier because I knew that I was putting only good things into my mouth and honestly fueling my body with the best foods possible. So I would never, you know, feel guilty about what I was eating or question like, am I eating healthy enough today? Or like, can I be healthier? That was never a thought that came across my mind, and that's something that I really struggled with before because I knew that I did have a lot of bad habits. Now, in terms of the physical results I saw, something weird that stood out to me that I just randomly realized was I can't remember the last time I had a stomach ache, which is crazy because a lot of my like friends and family, like we joke a lot because I always like have stomach aches or like bathroom troubles the scooties. And I literally can't remember the last time my stomach hurt because I wasn't eating like those really greasy or sugary foods. Now, I also do want to reiterate that I did not do this challenge to lose weight. Like weight loss was not my goal. I wasn't going for, you know, any crazy like differences in how I looked. It was mainly to improve how I felt. And I just wanted to be overall healthier. That was the main driver behind this challenge. But it is so true that when you strive for health and your body feels good on the inside, the outside is going to mimic that. And as you can tell by this video here, so I took the video on the left literally the first day of the challenge and I took the video on the right the last day of the challenge. So this is exactly 60 days difference. And I can see a pretty big change here. And I did measure the dimensions of like my waist, my legs, everything like that from head to toe at the start and end of this challenge. And a couple of them that I want to share with you is I did lose 7 centimeters from my waist. So 7 centimeters might not seem like that much, but it's this. So it's like the width of my hand. That's a pretty good difference. Like that might just be like, 7 centimeters, but like that's a pretty big difference for just 60 days. Also from my chest, I lost 4 centimeters and I also lost a couple in my legs as well. So definitely notice some quantifiable differences here. And I don't know how many pounds I lost because honestly, I feel like the scale just like messes with my head too much because, you know, you can have more water weight that day, muscle weighs more than fat. So there's that element in there. And I just didn't want to be so obsessed with the number. I don't want to be focused on, okay, like I need to be this weight, I need to lose this many pounds. So honestly, I don't know how much I weigh and I like going by the actual measurements because I can see, okay, like, you know, my waist shrunk, so I'm losing fat there and I can like noticeably see that difference. And like, to me, that is sufficient. Like, I don't care about the weight on the scale. Like, it just messes with me, to be honest. So as you can see in these before and after videos, it's clear that like the things that I was doing, I was just becoming healthier. And I don't think that the number on the scale is a true determinant of health because somebody who weighs less as somebody who's the same height as them is not necessarily healthier than that person. So it's just a good thing to keep in mind that weight does not determine health, okay? The habits and what you're doing on a day-to-day, that's what determines your health. The other thing I wanted to say was I kept everything else consistent. So in terms of my workouts, I kept those consistent. But the main kind of key here is I know I kind of went like cold turkey cutting those things out. And as I've said in the past, like I don't believe in like cutting something out to zero completely. Like I do believe in having balance. But for me, that was the only way that I could get rid of those bad habits. Like I was honestly addicted and not even like aware. I would just like eat chips here and there without thinking about it and things like that. And they were just bad habits that I was racking up and I was like, nah. Before I did this challenge, I was at the point where I was just not eating them in moderation anymore. I was just like eating them way too frequently to the point where it was a habit and I didn't have control over it anymore. So as soon as like those kinds of things had control over me and I didn't have control over it anymore, that's when I knew it was a problem. So I did this to gain my control back. And by cutting them out completely, yes, it was tough at first and like I had those kind of cravings and it was tough at the beginning, but then eventually I didn't care for them anymore. And like those habits just like completely went away because I decided I'm done with it. And by doing this for a whole 2 months, that was a good enough time to like completely break those habits. And then also in the process, I was building new ones. So when I couldn't eat things like chips or like brownies or cookies, instead I had to eat different things. So what I was substituting those different things with happened to be, you know, healthy foods, obviously, and it was foods that were higher in protein, higher in nutrients. In turn, like I definitely saw that I was able to gain a good amount of muscle in that time, and I just felt a lot stronger in the gym. I gained a lot of strength as well because I was eating those better fueling foods. After the first few weeks of the challenge, I didn't really care for those things that I was eating anymore. So now I crave foods that are good for me. So like Greek yogurt bowls. I crave raw broccoli dipped in hummus, which like I never thought that I would crave that, but I do. And a big thing that helped me get through this challenge is I still ate those foods that I loved, but I ate healthy versions of them. So for example, like I obviously would not go to Domino's and get like a pizza or like, you know, pizza from a restaurant, anything like that. No. Instead, I would make my own healthy version of a pizza. So I found this great recipe for pizza dough where you literally take whole wheat flour and you mix it with Greek yogurt. That's the dough. So you get the protein in the dough, and I put sauce and like veggies and meat and stuff like that on top. So I still ate pizza. I would make like protein cookies, protein oat bars. Instead, I just wouldn't buy like processed brownies or processed cookies from the store. Instead, I'd make it myself with like whole food ingredients, things that had nutrients. And so I was still able to enjoy the foods that I love. I just ate them in a healthy way and in a way that made me feel good and in a way that I didn't feel like I was depriving myself of anything. Because that's the other thing, like if you restrict yourself and you don't allow yourself to eat the foods that you love, that can really lead to binging and things like that, which I experienced, you know, a while back, a blast from the past, which was not good. So that's why I was like, I need some good substitutions here. And honestly, during the 60 days, there wasn't any points that I felt hungry or just felt like, oh my gosh, like I need this, or like, you know, like I was just really eating good whole foods and just treating my body good. I'm definitely gonna treat myself once in a while, but again, balance is the key here. Now that I no longer have those habits, I have control over them and I can choose like when it's a good time for me to consume those foods. Like it's no longer a habit, it's more of a choice. It's in my hands. All in all, I would say this was a really amazing experience for me. It was really eye-opening just to see how much those bad habits did have a hold over me, and now I feel like I regained so much power back. So I'm really happy that I did it. If you want to know more about the whys and hows behind this challenge, I'm gonna put the video up right here, so feel free to check that out. You'll get a whole bunch more details as to the logistics of how it all went down, and I hope that you guys have a killer day. Bye!